Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2016 Bass Pro Shops and NRA night race at Bristol, at the Bristol Speedway race review, where I recap what went on before the race, during the race, and after the race, looking ahead to the upcoming race. And because this race, or shall I say, most of this race got postponed on Sunday, and it ended in the evening. It's almost nighttime. As a mere recording this where I live. So once again, this is just going to be a shorter, not as creative race review when it comes to the format. I apologize. Hopefully that does not happen next week at Michigan. I'm actually going to start by just going over a little bit of the previous notes. Bristol Speedway. Always, in my opinion, one of the biggest races of the season. The night race to be the annual night race to be specific. But what got me excited for this race even more was the fact that I think they announced this just before the Watkins Glen race actually began. But I'm sure most of you heard it during the weekend. They added like VHT traction compound to the bottom, along with some resin or rosin, however it's pronounced. They did that to make the bottom group more competitive. The Bristol Speedway listened to the drivers' feedback because the drivers wanted, or at least some of the drivers, they wanted the bottom to be racier, because when Bristol grinded the track in 2012 to make it a one-group track, the bottom became pretty much useless. It was extremely hard to make it pass. But with these changes, I think they set out their goal. And in a way, it was kind of like the old Bristol, because there were moments where everyone was hugging the bottom, and it was like this. I would say it appeared on and off throughout the truck race, Xfinity race, and Cup race this weekend at Bristol. So I think it did a good job. It reminds me of the Bristol we had from 2007 to 2012. I wish that it was still the old Bristol, but that's likely not going to happen anytime soon. In other news, Dover adds more safer barriers, especially after a couple of drivers voiced their complaints about the lack of safer barriers in May. After, I think, especially after Danny Hamlin's wild burnout at Watkins Glen, where he caused the rear tires to explode, damaging the car, NASCAR will likely implement a new rule that kind of polices post-race burnouts. And I kind of had mixed feelings about this, but to me, the side that I'm leaning towards on is I think NASCAR has to find some way to keep it from drivers destroying the cars, because who knows if they're trying to make it to where like they destroy the car so that way it doesn't go through inspection, because in the past there have been reports of some drivers destroying their cars on purpose, so that way they can kind of like break the system. And then let's get to the race weekend. Kyle Busch was fastest in the opening practice, and was also fastest in the final practice. And then Carl Edwards, who won the race in April, won the pole. And so it was overall looking like it was going to be another Joe Gibbs racing weekend. And then a couple of news stories came out before the race even started. Jeff Gordon announced, I think it was on Friday, or I think it was Friday, that he will not be in the AD car in Michigan due to a prior commitment. And if Dale Earnhardt Jr. is not cleared to race at Michigan, which right now I don't really know Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s current health condition at the moment, so we'll just have to see. Alex Bowman will be in the car again. And if Alex Bowman does get in the car again, I think it's a good choice. He's probably not racing at Ohio in the Xfinity Series, so it works perfect for his schedule. And Alex Bowman was impressive when he drove the AD car at Loudon. And so who knows? Maybe he'll be able to impress again. And then last minute news came out, like it was like a couple hours before the race began on Saturday night. Michael Annett had the flu, and so Justin Allgaier had to drive the 46 car. Allgaier made his first Cup start since the season finale of last year, and I think Allgaier is a good fit. So now let's just move on to the overall thoughts on this race. Weird, interesting are kind of the best ways to describe it off the top of my head. it was interesting because if you look at the first 300 laps of the race, it was very calm. There were only a couple cautions, and the cautions that I did come out, they were only for minor spins or just simply a cars hitting the wall. There wasn't really a whole lot of wild moments. There were a couple of close calls, but for the most part, it was just simply it was clean, clean and calm. But then when was it? On lap. So shortly after the restart on lap 263. Oh no, wait a second. I'm looking at the wrong restart. Shortly after the restart on lap 316, Kyle Busch reported possible issues with the right rear shock. He lost the lead not so long after that, and his car was not up to speed. And Kyle Busch and the 18 team was planning on going to the garage. Then it looks like that whatever issue he had, it did fix himself, and he spun in turns 1 and 2. He had the car saved, but then Justin Allgaier made the wrong move by accident at the last second, clobbered the front of Kyle Busch's car, and then went right up into Mark Truex Jr. and Kyle Larson, who happened to be racing in 3rd and 4th place. And that became the first major accident. And then it set us up for another restart where the top 3 was Kurt Busch, Joe Logano, Brad Keselowski. And coming out to number 2, 1 lap after the restart on lap 373, Kurt Busch got sideways, Logano got damage, spun right, Brad Keselowski had nowhere to go, they went into the inside wall, and behind them they just stacked up. Matt Kenseth, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Brian Scott, all got the worst of it. And so the race went from calm to wild, destructive. It was quite the unexpected turn, even though in a way that's typical Bristol. But then after that, with so many good cars trying to put up, it pretty much opened the door for Kevin Harvick to pretty much dominate the final, I guess, 2/5 of the race, you could say, and Kevin Harvick went on to win. Before that, it was pretty much Kyle Busch who was going to win, and I thought Kyle Busch was going to win, but I guess, and maybe Kyle Busch would have won. Actually, Kyle Busch probably would not have won because Kevin Harvick's car his car just kind of came alive in the second half and then was running faster than Kyle Busch even before Kyle Busch had his issues. So actually, Kevin Harvick was probably going to win anyway, even if all that chaos didn't happen, and all his good cars got taken out. What that means is that this is Kevin Harvick's second win of the year, second ever at Bristol. His first win at Bristol was back in 2005, April. This is also Stewart-Haas Racing's first win at the short track. And for Kevin Harvick, this is good for him and his Ford team. They won back at Phoenix in March, and then they have contended for a couple wins, but have never been able to do so. And then there were just moments throughout the season where he was just kind of. It was like he was just kind of there, and he had a good enough car for the top 10, but never had that winning car. And I think especially after last year's performance, where Kevin Harvick was fast and had a winning car almost every single weekend, this year has felt somewhat like a step back for him. Even though Kevin Harvick still had a very strong season, in fact, if the chase didn't exist, we would be talking about him as the points leader. He's led the points standings throughout most of the season. His season has not been just as strong, and there was also a period for a while where I thought to myself, okay, is Kevin Harvick just going to win only at Phoenix? But in this race, Kevin Harvick proved that he can still win at other tracks that aren't Phoenix. And this is good momentum for him and his Ford team, just a couple weeks away from the chase beginning. Just like in April, one main highlight that I take away from this race is some of the underdogs that scored really good finishes at Bristol. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. ties his best career finish ever in his sprint career, and interestingly, when he got second place the first time, it was also at Bristol. Chris Buescher finishes 5th, and it wasn't a total fluke either. I mean, Chris Buescher qualified. He made the final round for the first time in his career in qualifying. He spent most of the race inside the top 15-20, and then after some of the multi-car wrecks, he eventually was inside the top 10-5, and he was actually able to stay there. Stay there up against drivers like Jimmy Johnson and Carl Edwards. So props to him. Also with that 5th place finish, and David Reagan finishing out to the top 20. Now Chris Buescher is into the top 30 points because he won Pocono. He is now officially in the chase grid, but he has to, of course, be consistent enough to stay there. But I think Chris Buescher, unless he has like a really bad race at Michigan, Darlington, or Richmond, I'm sure he will make it. He's going to stay to the top 30 and make the chase. AJ Allmendinger, back-to-back top 10s. I don't know the last time. I don't know if that's ever happened in his career. But just, I guess I'll look at that in my free time. And yeah, that's really it. As far as like chase implications, Austin Dillon got a good finish in 4th place. More than a full race above the cut line. He looks good to make the chase. Jamie McMurray with Chris Buescher moving into the top 30 in points that knocks Jamie McMurray to the last driver. That would make the chase in on points, but he looks pretty good with Jamie McMurray. What Jamie McMurray and that one team does not want to see happen is another underdog winning or then just getting on a bad streak in these final 3 races. In what could be his final race, Jeff Gordon finishes 11th. And if this was his final race, it wasn't a bad showing at all. In fact, Jeff Gordon actually showed early on in the race that he could have finished into the top 5 and made a really good save. Just past I think it was past the 100 lap mark. It was closer. It was around it was somewhere between lap 100 or lap 200. He made an incredible save. So yeah. Trevor Bayne got a solid finish in 12th, and that actually moved him to the first driver outside of the chase grid. So Trevor Bayne, it looks like even though he's had a career season, it looks like he's just going to come up short of making the chase. And with that, that's pretty much all I really got to say about Bristol. So now looking ahead to Michigan. This time around, it's in late August and not early to mid August, so that's going to be a little different. They're bringing the even lower downforce package to the track, just like they did at June. I think this time around they're bringing a little more side force, which I think is not exactly what I wanted to see. It should be less, but hopefully it's a good race. I read an article a couple of days ago saying that they brought the tire dragging, which is actually something else they use at Bristol on the bottom, and at Kentucky. To help widen the racing curve at Michigan. So, and if the groove is wider than the one we saw in June, then we're likely going to see an even better race, hopefully. In June, Joe Logano dominated the race. I think he led about 130 something laps. So I think he'll be looked at as a favorite. But to me, I think it'll once again be one of the JGR cars. I don't know if we're really gonna make a pick this time around. I'll just say that I think it's likely gonna be like a Penske versus Gibbs show. That's what I see happening. But also this just came out of mine. I remember how at Michigan drivers like Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, some of the younger drivers were actually performing very well at Michigan. So maybe we'll just see a first time winner. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this race review. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry that it was once again short in this format. Hopefully, I does not happen next week in Michigan. I will see you all later, and goodbye.